Chef Des coming at you from my kitchen again, and if you have a New Year's resolution of getting fit, building muscle, or eating healthier, a diet rich in protein will help you achieve those goals. So today I'm so happy to share my recipe with you of chicken Provençale. This is a dish that's packed full of protein and nutrition, and you're gonna love it. And for this dish, we're gonna use Yarrow Meadow boneless, skinless chicken breasts. These are locally grown chickens that are raised without the use of antibiotics, and they're an excellent source of protein for a healthy diet. The first thing we're gonna do for this recipe is we're gonna create a brine. Brining is an excellent way to increase flavor in your healthy protein without adding fat. So we have 6 cups of water, and we have 6 tablespoons of salt. I usually go with a tablespoon of salt for every cup of water. And we're just going to whisk that until it's completely dissolved. There's lots of ways to do different brines. You can look them up online. Some have brown sugar, some have peppercorns and bay leaves, and you boil it and then you chill it. We're just going to do the most simple brine ever, which is just water and salt. Okay, we've dissolved that salt in the water. Let's move on to the next step. Let's take our Yarrow Meadow chicken breasts now, and we're going to put them in that brine. So I have 4 chicken breasts here, boneless, skinless. And I think my container is going to be a little bit too small. If that's the case, just take a larger bowl and we can just transfer that mixture into something where it's going to fit into. The next step is to refrigerate these for about 1 hour. That will give the brine a chance to penetrate those chicken breasts. Not only will it make it more flavorful, but also more juicy. And we're just going to take them out now. And I have some paper towel here that we're just going to pat them dry. And then you can discard that brine. So I'm just going to take that paper towel, blot them nicely dry. From this point on, you have to remember that these chicken breasts are pre-seasoned now with the salt. And we're going to take a little bit of flour, and we're just going to coat these. You can eliminate this step of coating with flour if you're trying to cut down the flour in your diet. It just helps it to brown a little bit in the pan and adds a little bit of thickness to the sauce. Now that we have these dredged in flour, let's move over to the stove top. So we're going to take a large pan, medium-high heat, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I just take that oil and I just coat the bottom of the pan, make sure it's thoroughly coated. And then you want to add your beautiful chicken breast to that pan. You're going to want to brown both sides of the chicken. It's going to add some great flavor to the dish. We're not looking to cook the chicken breast through at this point, as that will happen later in the dish. Once the first side is brown, we'll flip them over and we'll do the same. It takes about 3 minutes per side. Once you're happy that both sides are brown, we're going to take them out, and I'm just going to transfer them to a pan. And remember, these aren't cooked through yet. And we're going to turn down the heat to medium, and that pan is screaming hot. Remember, we had it at medium-high. So we're going to temper the pan a little bit by adding half a can of tomatoes. So we'll be using a full can of diced tomatoes, 796 ml or 28 ounces, but we're going to add half of them right now to help cool down that pan. Look at how hot that is. Now that we cooled down that pan, we can add an extra tablespoon of olive oil. You can omit this if you want. It's very popular in this dish to have lots of olive oil, but you don't have to have the extra fat at this point if you don't want to. We're going to add 1 shallot that's been minced, 6 or 8 cloves of garlic that have been chopped, and it's a good thing we calmed down the heat of that pan, otherwise that garlic would burn and it would become bitter. We're also going to add 1 teaspoon of anchovy paste, or if you have a can of anchovies, 1 fillet. And a couple teaspoons of dry oregano. We're just going to stir that all in. We're going to cook this for about 2 or 3 minutes. We're just looking for the shallot to become soft and fragrant. And remember, we're on that medium heat now. At this point, you're going to want to add the rest of those tomatoes, 1 cup of white wine, and the 4 reserved chicken breasts. Then we're gonna increase the heat to high. We're gonna bring that to a full boil, and then we're gonna cover and simmer that for about 20 minutes. And this is the cooking process that's gonna cook those chicken breasts all the way through. Okay, there's our full boil. We're gonna cover that, turn it down to a simmer, and we're gonna wait about 20 minutes for that to cook. All right, these are done now. Have a look at this. Beautiful. If you're unsure after the 20 minutes of whether those chicken breasts are fully cooked or not, you can always take the internal temperature, and you should be looking for a minimum of 160 Fahrenheit or 71 Celsius. 71, and it's done. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take those chicken breasts out of the sauce. And I'm just gonna keep them warm with a little bit of foil. And we're gonna increase this to high. And now we wanna finish the sauce. So a couple tablespoons of tomato paste and a couple teaspoons of sugar. You don't have to put the sugar in. If you're watching your sugar intake, that just helps to balance the acidity of the tomato in this dish. It's not necessary, but it makes it more enjoyable on the palate. We're just gonna stir that tomato paste in. And we wanna reduce this now with the lid off the pan until it becomes a thicker sauce. Right now you can tell it's pretty sloshy. How much you reduce it down is totally up to you. You can have it really thick, or you can have it a little bit more liquidy. What I like to do to test it is take a spoon and I drag it across the sauce, and you'll see that trail of the pan after the spoon. How quickly that fills in is going to tell you how liquidy the sauce is. If you want it thicker, keep boiling it until you see that trail a little bit more. You could easily serve this with pasta too, so if that's the case, you're gonna wanna have a more liquidy sauce to coat all the pasta. I like mine a little thicker than this, so I'm gonna go a little bit more. Okay, watch this. Watch how much of a trail I'm gonna get with the spoon. See that? And it doesn't fill in very quickly. That's what I wanna look for. So at this point, I'm gonna turn off the heat, and we're gonna add 10 Kalamata olives that have been pitted and chopped. And we'll stir that into the sauce. Now those olives play a very important role. Remember, the chicken breasts have been seasoned with the brine. We didn't add any salt or pepper to this sauce, so those salty Kalamata olives are gonna be the seasoning for the sauce. Chicken's been seasoned, now the sauce has been seasoned too. And they add a beautiful color to it as well. All right, let's plate this dish. The first thing we're gonna do is plate the chicken breasts. And then we're gonna spoon this beautiful sauce over the chicken. And our very last component, some fresh oregano leaves. I've chopped these a little bit, adds a nice green element to the dish, and wow, the heat from the sauce releasing these essential oils from the oregano is amazing. And there you have my chicken Provençale. Always remember that poultry is a good source of protein. Get these locally farmed premium chicken products at fesp.ca and enjoy them delivered straight to your doorstep. And this is Chef Des signing out. Where are you getting your poultry from?